All right, here's a player recap of last night's Barrowmaze session 7. Um, we use Dragon Slayer by Greg Gillespie. Barrowmaze, of course, written and developed by Greg Gillespie as well. So a perfect match. So Eloy is our MC for these campaigns. Jose plays a ranger. Myself, Vela, a female fighter. Jose, a male ranger. Jorge playing a male paladin, and David joined us last night as a female assassin, Dura, right? So we have Dura. Felonius is our paladin. I'm sorry, I just got up. It's early. It's 4 in the morning. Oh God, my coffee hadn't quite kicked in yet. I'm playing again a female fighter. And Jose is a male ranger. Okay, not that it really matters, right? I mean, it does, obviously, but so again, we don't have a full house. However, we have a full expedition, right? We have 11, counting our hirelings and our men-at-arms, our torchbearers, and we also have a excavation crew because we have been staying above ground, excavating any mounds that are collapsed. And so we heal up from their last session. They heal up for a couple of days and purchase or acquire gear to replace weapons that were lost in the last session. So apparently the last session, and again, I wasn't involved. It's been a while since I had a chance to play with these guys. They encountered a creature from the Fiend Folio, um, um, and that is hard on weapons. Let's put it that way. And this was last session. So re-outfitted, ready to go. Replaced a couple of lost henchmen in the last episode. There were 3 hirelings that died, henchmen that died, right? 2 men-at-arms and a torchbearer were killed in the last session. So we replenish both gear and crew, and we set out again to investigate the southwest, about 250 feet from the main burrow mound, southwest. We investigate what Donald has marked as mound 20, I think 21. Where's my notebook? Um, so we are in the southwest, and I think we travel 270 feet southwest from the main burrow. And let's see here if I have it. Burrow number 21, Southwest Mound. We are required to dig this up. It takes a while for them to excavate it and get into it. And in here we discover 4 a fairly narrow tomb, but rectangular in shape, with alcoves in 4 alcoves cut into the walls, all of them depicting a statuette depicting members of a family. A couple when they're young, a couple when they're with their children, and then one of the children. And all of these correspond to 4 uh, burial sarcophagus in the middle of the room. And we do 3 of these. If we did 4, I somehow missed it, but we did 3, and I think at that point we realized they all correspond to identifying carvings or reliefs on the sarcophagus, in which it looks like the boy, the girl, the mother, and the father. And so we decided to go ahead and investigate those and do what we do: liberate the dead of their wealth, of their treasure, and from the ceiling drop centipedes upon us. We end up in a very short battle with these centipedes, taking care of them very quickly. However, again, 2 of our lamb, one of our men-at-arms, and our new torchbearer, both are bitten, stung. They suffer very little damage, but they fail their saves. They are stung. They are sick. It's affecting their mobility, but they're alive. They're not yet succumbed to any poison. So we sure enough investigate these four. We liberate the boy's resting place of a dagger, an antique bone-hilted dagger. Dura takes that as our assassin. And then we find a gold ring in a comb in the girls, an ivory comb, which is fairly valuable, and I think a ring, gold ring, or silver ring on the little girl. The husband, we acquire a necklace, gold necklace, and a gold ring. And the fourth, rising from this as we lift the stone, or the top from this, rising the mother, and she attacks immediately. Again, our paladin waylays this thing in like one stroke. It's with his fiery, so he has a magic weapon that can shift into a fiery blade, an axe, a hammer, and a staff. Basically, it might shift into something else. It's the Swiss Army knife of magical weapons. But he, calls upon this blade and waylays this thing, this fiery blade. However, it remanifests itself in short order, and the ranger, then thinking quickly with his holy water, uh, douses it in holy water, and we're again, combat's over in like 2 turns. Um, we move on from here. Now, when it reassembles itself before our eyes, most of us fail a save against fear, and we all run. Um, so I'm forced to run, and the paladin is forced to run, which is really funny because when you think about the paladin, the one thing. So when you think about this thing, man, it just spooks the paladin and Vela and most of the entourage. Donald holds his ground, Dura holds her ground, and Lamb, I think, or Taggart holds his ground, and they take care of this with holy water. So that's the first mound of the night. The second mound is a stone slab. We unearth that. We travel again. This is slightly north of that, or east, slightly east of that. It's mound 20 on his map. We center the door, and it's a 30 by 30 room. And we acquire, I can't read without my glasses. My notes are actually fairly well organized and written fairly well, but I can't see. Um, Okay, this also has niches in it and a casket. We don't discover, oh, we discover, yeah, we do discover amphora, painted clay jars, depicting agricultural cattle harvest, etc. We do acquire all of those. However, they're clay, they're very fragile, but we do secure those. There's a casket on a dais here raised. However, there's nothing of value in it around it. It is an old wooden casket, and it is what's in it is nothing but dust, so to speak. We then move on north to Mound 19, and asunder that door as well, and we descend into the stairs up to ankle, knee-high water as we descend into this crypt, and we just coming into range of our torchlight. We can hear traversing the water and coming out of the darkness into our torchlight, skeletons, half a dozen skeletons. And that's where we close. And again, these nights we start fairly late for the guys on the East Coast and Central. And so we try to do these sessions on Wednesday night. When we start late, we try to do these sessions, in an hour and a half tops. So we're pretty good about this on Wednesday nights with Joth too. We generally finish in 2 hours. So, we've got it down, and that's more than enough for us, to have fun and to do some things. And so this took we talked a little while beforehand. So again, we were a little late getting started in session, but that's okay. It's just great to break the ice and chat with the guys when we haven't had time to talk. Anyway, another great session. But we dealt with oh God, a corpse, coffin corpse, I believe they're called. That was the mother. Again, I think it was a random encounter that he just folded into the thing we were doing, which was fantastic. I don't think it was written into the mound. I think it was a wandering monster that he just made complete sense of, which was brilliant. He put it into context, right? Which is what we do. It may have been literally written into the mound, but I don't know. The centipedes, of course, I believe were also a wandering monster check that fell from the ceiling, which was cool. I don't know how many there were, quite a bit. There's like one for most of us. We waylaid them pretty quick, and then again, we're about to face half a dozen skeletons, which I imagine the paladin will. I imagine the paladin will take care of quickly. Maybe in our next session, if we have our cleric, he'll turn them and send them off into the dark corners of the tomb while we do our acquisition of find trinkets and treasures in the Barrowmaze. We've had more sessions now, I believe, uh, ab- above ground, not related to the mega dungeon, which has been, again, shows you how much material is in the Barrowmaze. We have escorted, we've been to all the little towns and villages, we've done some escort stuff, and we have really enjoyed the excavating the mounds, investigating all the mounds above ground. Um, and I like a great dungeon crawl, but we talked about this afterwards. I think the mega dungeon is not particularly how I like the dungeoneer, right? I like a dungeon. I love a dungeon, but I don't need it to be a mega dungeon, right? Now, that's not to say we're not going to mega dungeon. We don't enjoy this. I just mean when I GM, I rarely do mega dungeons, right? It doesn't mean I haven't used a mega dungeon map, but we rarely stay. We rarely ever finish a mega dungeon. We rarely ever get very far. And um, I don't know why that is, but we all obviously have dungeon crawled and love to dungeon crawl. I kind of like closure, and Jose and I both, I think, shared this last night. Jose said he's not that in love with mega dungeons, and I'm as a GM, I'm definitely not. And as a player, well, this is the first time I've ever really been in a mega dungeon that I'm aware of. Um, but I think part of it is I like people to be able to complete the investigation of a dungeon or of a map, right? I like them to have some sense that they've seen it all, they found it all, and they've wrapped it up, right? I like, we can't be superheroes in these old school games. Our goal is not to do that. Your goal is to investigate mysteries and to try to, do what you do in them. But the one thing it's kind of nice is sometimes to sew up or have completion of something, right? So I think that's always why I like dungeons to have a theme, and there's generally some, you go into them and you're like, oh, there's a theme here for this, right? And by the way, Gillespie in his dungeon creation portion of these rules is brilliant. Think of a theme and start to make sense of all the things you're going to randomly put into this dungeon. And again, you can just keep creating rooms live randomly. So his dungeon creation portion, you could literally end up playing a mega dungeon by just creating room after room after room as players continue to, if they enjoy it, you just keep going, and you make a map as you go, and you can roll stuff up. Obviously, it's best to generate and have some idea of what you're doing, but like I said, for me, a big dungeon is like 16 or 22 major events or locations, and that's about as much as I like to do when they're in a big dungeon. So mega dungeons for me are like, wow, and they're out there, man. But I can see guys who expedition and campaign, for 20, 80 sessions in a mega dungeon. I can see, their goal. It's just not something that I think that we all enjoy as much. Um, we're kind of an interesting lot. I think we love Moldvay. We love old D20 D&D. But I think for all of us, we probably began to enjoy it more when the expert edition came out and there was wilderness adventure rules. It's like we were liberated from having to just do dungeon crawls. Now, granted, the module I think that comes with the Moldvay was keep on the borderlands, right? Which is awesome as hell. Still about the only module I ever actually tried to run for my group, and then I would just use maps for most modules. But um, there's something about travel. There's something about dynamism in being above ground, dealing with nature and dealing with all kinds of different beasts and terrain, and then of course discovering a cave or discovering a dungeon and plunging into the depths of that danger. I like that kind of dynamism, right? I like that kind of fantasy, so to speak, right? And I think we all love the rules, but I think we also like it to be more than just the dungeon crawl, um, which is I think why D&D's evolved, right? Because I think the more people who came to the games, the more they enjoyed the rules, they enjoyed the characters, they enjoyed the combat, whatever. But they wanted to do more than just dungeon crawl. I think that's an honest assessment of why games evolved, why D&D changed and evolved, why there was more, you began to realize you could do so much more with these characters and this time than just dungeon crawl, right? However, I really enjoy the mechanics of the dungeon crawl, right? Maintaining torches, maintaining silence, moving slowly. There is there is a technique in that is fun to exercise, right? And to do as a player, and a GM, right? And a GM. So anyway, it was another great session. We're now going to try to do every other Wednesday night. So we do Joth on Wednesday night, then we do this on the next Wednesday night, Joth. So we rotate, which was ideally uh, what we were going to do. We've been trying to play Dragon Slayer, Barrowmaze every week, and then of course we had our summer break and a lot of things going on, and Tuesdays has become a little difficult for me in the fall. So that's not going to be so easy. So we're going to alternate Joth on Wednesday nights. So that's fine. For now, that works for me. Obviously, I think we'd all like to play, a couple of nights a week, but most of us aren't retired, right? We have other things we have to do. And of course, the weekends we generally hold out for family and chores and our real life, as we like to call it. So it's like weeknights are nothing, right? So, all right, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Bye bye.